What's up, you guys? Welcome to the video. Tonight, it's Sunday night. It's Monster Jam Collection video night. So we'll go ahead and start the video with Gears Blue Thunder. Now this thing. Golden chassis, Space Gold chassis wheels with white roll cage and tires with golden beaky to printing with Astro treads. Moving on to Ice Grave Digger. Now this thing. Blue chassis wheels with white roll cage with clear blue tires with white beaky to printing with white ice treads. Moving on to Zombie Megalodon. Now this thing. Black chassis with red roll cage with green wheels, black beaky to printing with zombie glitter treads. Moving on to Galaxy's Monster Mutt Dalmatian. Now this thing. Cyan chassis, beaky to printing and bead locks with black roll cage and clear black wheels with clear purple glitter tires. Moving on to Fire Son of a Digger. Now this thing. Red chassis wheels with yellow roll cage with red beaky to printing with orange tires with yellow fire treads. Moving on to Hunter Max D. Now this thing. Gray chassis with brown roll cage with mahogany wheels and chrome beaky to printing with Hunter glitter treads. Moving on to Gear Zombie. Everything looks the same as Blue Thunder. Moving on to Ice Dragon. Everything looks the same as the Grave Digger. Moving on to Zombie El Toro Loco. Now this thing. Black chassis with yellow roll cage with red wheels with chrome beaky to printing with zombie glitter treads. Moving on to Galaxy's Bakugan Dragonoid. Everything looks the same as the Dalmatian. Moving on to Fire Great Clips Mohawk Warrior. Everything looks the same as the Son of a Digger. Moving on to Hunter Earthshaker. Now this thing. Gray chassis with black roll cage with mahogany wheels and chrome beaked printing with Hunter glitter treads. Moving on to the Neo Galaxy Gravedigger. Now this thing. White chassis with the purple roll cage with pink wheels, teal tires with white beaked printing. Moving on to the Nitro Gravedigger. Now this thing. Pink chassis with black roll cage with tires with purple beaked printing and B-locks with teal wheels with moving on to Beakety Customs Gravedigger. Now this thing. Silver chassis and wheels with green roll cage and B-locks, Beakety printed tires. Moving on to Beakety Customs Gravedigger Orange. Now this thing. Silver chassis with orange roll cage and wheels, Beakety printed tires. Moving on to Beakety Customs Gravedigger Red. Now this thing. Silver chassis with red roll cage and wheels, Beakety printed tires. Moving on to Beakety Customs Gravedigger Purple. Now this thing. Black chassis with purple roll cage, blue wheels, Beakety printed tires. Moving on to Beakety Customs Son of a Digger. Now this thing. Silver chassis and wheels with blue roll cage with purple B-locks and Beakety printed tires. Moving on to Beakety Customs, the 30th Anniversary Gravedigger. Now this thing. Chrome chassis with green roll cage with farm green wheels, Beakety printed tires. Moving on to Beakety Customs, the 40th Anniversary Gravedigger. Now this thing. Chrome chassis with yellow roll cage with aqua teal wheels, Beakety printed tires. Moving on to BKT Customs Monster Mutt Dalmatian. Now this thing red chassis with white roll cage and wheels, BKT to put the tires. Moving on to BKT Customs Monster Mutt Golden Retriever. Now this thing golden chassis and wheels with brown roll cage with BKT to put the tires. Moving on to BKT Customs Bad News Travels Fast. Now this thing orange chassis with black roll cage with silver wheels with orange bead locks, BKT to put the tires. Moving on to BKT Customs Aftershock. Now this thing yellow chassis and wheels with blue roll cage with BKT to put the tires. Moving on to BKT Customs Iron Outlaw. Now this thing red chassis and wheels with silver roll cage with BKT to put the tires. Moving on to BKT Customs Kraken. Now this thing copper chassis with dirt brown roll cage with pink wheels, BKT to put the tires. Moving on to BKT Customs Velociraptor. Now this thing silver chassis with mahogany roll cage with black wheels, BKT to put the tires. Moving on to BKT Customs Jurassic Attack. Now this thing silver chassis with purple roll cage and wheels, BKT to put the tires. Moving on to BKT Customs Northern Nightmare. Now this thing silver chassis with red roll cage, orange wheels, BKT to put the tires. Moving on to BKT Customs Blue Thunder. Now this thing silver chassis with green roll cage and wheels, BKT to put the tires. Moving on to BKT Customs, Time Flies. Now this thing, silver chassis and roll cage with black wheels, BKT put the tires. Moving on to BKT Customs, Lucas Stabilizer. Now this thing, silver chassis with black roll cage, red wheels, BKT put the tires. Moving on to BKT Customs Avenger. Now this thing, silver chassis with green roll cage and wheels, BKT put the tires. Moving on to BKT Customs El Toro Loco. Now this thing, black chassis with silver roll cage, orange wheels, BKT put the tires. Moving on to BKT Customs Zombie. Now this thing, maroon chassis with white roll cage and wheels, BKT put the tires. Moving on to BKT Customs Wolf's Head. Now this thing, silver chassis with brown roll cage with black wheels, BKT put the tires. Moving on to BKT Customs Earthshaker. Now this thing, silver chassis with yellow roll cage and wheels, BKT put the tires. Moving on to BKT Customs Dragon. Now this thing, silver chassis with green roll cage and wheels, BKT put the tires. Moving on to BKT Customs Max D. Now this thing, silver chassis with black roll cage and wheels, BKT put the tires. Moving on to BKT Customs Megalodon. Now this thing, silver chassis and roll cage with aqua wheels, BKT put the tires. Moving on to BKT Customs Monster Jam Stunt Truck. Now this thing, Yellow chassis and wheels with black roll cage, Bigot Printer tires. Moving on to BKT Customs, the Champion Collection Gravedigger. Now this thing. Silver chassis and wheels with green roll cage, Bigot Printer tires. Moving on to BKT Customs, the Champion Collection Son of a Digger. Now this thing. Silver chassis and wheels with dark blue roll cage with Bigot Printer tires. And now, moving on to the original Gravedigger. Now this thing. Silver chassis with black roll cage and tires with yellow wheels. Moving on to Gravedigger the Legend. Now this thing. Black chassis, roll cage, and tires with silver wheels. Moving on to the Retro Gravedigger. Now this thing. Black chassis and tires with green roll cage and wheels. Moving on to Gravedigger 7. Now this thing. Silver chassis and wheels with green roll cage with flotation tires. Moving on to the Green Ghost Gravedigger. Now this thing. Also silver chassis and wheels with green roll cage with flotation tires. Moving on to the green Nitro Neon Gravedigger. Now this thing. Everything is all green except that the wheels are white. Moving on to the blue Nitro Neon Son of a Digger. Now this thing. Everything's all blue except the wheels are white. Moving on to the yellow Nitro Neon Earthshaker. Now this thing. Yellow chassis and tires with black roll cage with white wheels. Moving on to the pink Nitro Neon Calavera. Everything is all pink. Moving on to the teal Nitro Neon Blue Thunder. Now this thing. teal chassis and wheels with brown roll cage and tires. Moving on to the custom Nitro Neon Gravedigger. Now this thing, orange chassis and wheels with maroon roll cage with yellow tires. Moving on to the 2024 Custom Neon Green Max T. Now this thing, green chassis and wheels with black roll cage with yellow tires. Moving on to the 2024 Custom Neon Orange Max T. Now this thing, orange chassis and wheels with black roll cage with yellow tires. Moving on to the orange Nitro Neon Max T. Now this thing, everything is all orange except the roll cage is all black. Moving on to the yellow Nitro Neon Max T. Now this thing, silver chassis with black roll cage and tires with yellow roll cage and tires with black wheels. Moving on to the green Nitro Neon Max T. Now this thing, silver chassis with green roll cage and tires with black wheels. Moving on to the purple Nitro Neon Max T. Now this thing, everything is all purple except the roll cage is all black. Moving on to Custom Elementals Trucks Gravedigger. Now this thing, purple chassis with black roll cage with green and yellow wheels on the left and orange and red wheels on the right with blue tires. Moving on, last but not least, to custom phased out Son of a Digger. Now this thing, white chassis with black roll cage with 2 red wheels, 1 black wheel, 1 white wheel, 2 yellow, 2 black tires, 2 white tires. And that'll be it, you guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, or also you turn on your notifications to my YouTube page, Parker Wilson's Blinking Ends and Meeting Amigos. Goodbye.